Bird brain. I call it bird brain. Nikki Haley has made an unholy alliance with rhinos, never-Trumpers, Americans for no prosperity. She was sitting there like...
She's gone crazy. She's a very angry person.
She is not presidential timber. I don't need votes. We have all the votes we need.
She's gone haywire.
There aren't that many never-Trumpers anymore.
How do you bring these Nikki Haley voters back into the tank?
I'm not sure we need too many.
The Biden camp is using $1 million with their war chest to target some disillusioned Nikki Haley voters that may not be loudly declaring that they plan to vote against Trump in November. But yeah, presidential candidates usually do try to appeal to the middle after the primaries end. But the way that the Trump camp is almost strategically minimizing their appeal to anyone that isn't willing to do his bidding, they're handing Biden a number of votes.
I can assure you there will be no funny business. Anyone who is not on board with seeing Donald Trump as the 47th president and America-loving patriots all the way down the ticket being supported by the RNC is welcome to leave, because we are not playing games and we have no time to waste. So we have to ensure that every single penny of every dollar donated goes to the causes people care about. That's part of the reason that I think I'm such a great fit for this. There's no one more loyal to Donald Trump and the Make America Great Again movement than this person you're looking at right here.
It's a weird message for normal political campaigns, even if they are lying to the voters in the margins and those that left the primaries with a bad taste in their mouths. Most may try to promise VP roles or cabinet positions to the most qualified opponent that they just took down. But after going that route the first time, Trump has promised to install like-minded fascists and yes-men to avoid these pesky conversations that includes the words no or actually, Donald, you can't do that. He can't get an endorsement from former party leaders like W. Bush or Dick Cheney, Mitt Romney, or even his vice president, Mike Pence. Instead, he's got cabinet members and discarded conservatives putting out warnings over how dangerous he really is.
There are multiple things that I think are the reason he should not be president. That's the whole reason I'm running. I do think that he is in decline, and I think that he needs to know to step away. I do think that he surrounds himself in chaos, and we can't be a country in disarray and have a world on fire and be in chaos. I do think that these court cases are distracting, not just to the American people, but to him himself, which is keeping him from talking about what really matters. That's exactly why I don't think he should be president.
I've always questioned the effectiveness of political candidates' last-minute or forced endorsements on voters that haven't made up their minds on who to support yet. So Haley's decision to flip on that Republican directive to support the nominee after the primaries and after they lose to him, no matter what, might anger some pundits that want blind unity. But Haley supporters seem to be paying attention to what the Trump camp has been saying about them without her pushback. So when your nominee has absolutely no interest in appealing to voters that aren't prepared to accept his rigid and self-centered plans to centralize power, the only thing left is to toss those guys the middle finger rather than ask them to act like he cares about them. And if nothing else, it illustrates how he may react to the loyal voters that somehow expect him to act in the best interest of the country. Because once he gets their vote, every move that he makes will involve increasing his own power. It's why they approved of Mike Johnson taking Kevin McCarthy's seat to lead the House, because he says things like this.
I think we can have a larger, sizable majority, not 25 or 30 seats anymore because of gerrymandering and redistricting, but we can have a bigger majority. You get that, you get the Senate. We're going to make big, radical changes. I've talked to President Trump and all my colleagues about what that first 100 days looks like, and you will see proof right out of the gates. I mean, aggressive changes to the regulatory state, the deep state, the bureaucracy that's turned on the people and weaponized against them, to the budgeting and spending process.
Every time you hear Trump or his yes men whine about the weaponization of the judicial system on the American people, it's only about one person, the guy that placed himself in direct opposition to the law over and over and over again. He's convinced people and made them comfortable identifying as backers of the blue and proponents of law and order, while at the same time characterizing their beloved law enforcement personnel as enemies of MAGA. It only makes sense if you're a power-hungry criminal in search of revenge.
Going back to your influence, in that 3 hours, over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her, and she was a good person. She was a patriot. There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he killed her, but one person